Hi, today I'm going to show you how to install a clothing rack by Brooklyn Blackpipe. First, you want to make sure that you check the contents. Make sure you have one clothing rack, 2 legs, and 1 bag of mounting hardware. The tools you'll need for this job are a Phillips head screwdriver, and I recommend using a drill with 2 bit sizes, 3 32nds and 3/16. First thing you have to do is mark the spot where you're going to put the first leg. So for us, we're going to have our first leg right here. I'm going to mark the 4 holes right here. And there we go. Alright, once you have your holes marked, you want to drill. You want to start with a drill bit of 3 32nds. This is in case you run into a stud that your hole isn't too big. So what we're going to do is drill, and if we run into a stud, just note which holes have studs behind them. No stud. There was a stud there. No stud. There was a stud there. Alright, next what we want to do is we want to drill in the 2 holes that are going to have anchors that don't have a beam behind them. We want to drill those out to be 3/16 size bit. It's a little bit bigger. And that's it. Install the 2 anchors where we don't have a beam behind them. We're just going to take an ordinary Phillips head screwdriver, medium to large size. I'm using a large size here just because it's a little easier. Just going to push it straight in as far as I can. And then I'm just going to gently turn small bits, making sure not to damage the anchor. And there you go, there's the one. And now real quickly I'm going to do the second one. And there's the second one. Again, and we only put them in these 2 right here because there's a beam behind these 2 holes right here. Alright, next we're going to install the first leg onto the wall. I'm going to start with the hole that has, or one of the 2 holes that has a beam behind it, because that's the most sturdy connection. And I'll put the second one in the hole with the beam. And now I'll install the 2 screws with the anchors behind them. Just attach pretty simply. And again, if you don't have any beams behind any 4 of these, that's completely fine. You just need to use 4 anchors. So if you have a beam, and you'll know with the first drill, if you hit something solid, then don't use an anchor. But if you don't have a beam, put an anchor in. And these anchors come supplied with each clothing rack. Alright, now that we've got them semi-tight, I'm going to go back around and make sure everything is good and tight. Good and tight there. And the reason why we attached one leg fully before we did anything on the other leg is because if we made the marks and they were off even slightly, it would have been a lot harder to get this to mount properly. So by making sure that this is in tight and fully secure, our marks on the other side are going to be more accurate. We've swung the rack up here to the approximate location. I'm going to eyeball it to make sure it's level, and then I'm going to make my 4 marks over here. Alright, once I've done that, I can swing this down out of the way and do some drilling. Okay, now once we have our holes marked, we're ready to drill. Again, we're going to start with the smaller of the 2 drill bits that we're going to use, which is 3/32 inch. And that's because we want to make sure that if we use the drill and if we hit a beam, we don't want to drill a hole too big so that the screw doesn't work. There's a beam there. Beam there. Nothing there. And no beam there. Now again, we're going to drill out the 2 holes that don't have a beam behind them because we want to install an anchor. So we're going to go to the larger of the 2 drill bits that we're using today, which is the 3/16. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to install the 2 anchors in the holes where they don't have a beam behind them. If you try to screw a screw into the hole without an anchor and without a beam, the rack will not mount properly. It will fall off most likely. So again, just like the other side, we're going to push it in with a big screwdriver and then just gently turn. There we go. Both of the holes that need anchors are properly installed, and now we're going to finish the installation by attaching the second leg of the rack. Alright, so first, again, we're going to start with the holes that have a beam behind them because they're the more sturdy of the 2. And for the second hole with the beam behind it, alright, there we go. There's the second leg attached and the rack is mounted. And make sure to visit my shop at etsy.com/shop/Brooklyn Black Pipe. Thank you.